Congratulations, you've started your own company. Now you need to generate income. To generate income, you need sales. My name is Sid Ragona and I run a sales company, and I'm going to give you 10 sales tips in less than 10 minutes that should result in a lifetime of success. Tip number 1. Ensure that you know the value proposition of what you're selling. What is the customer's pain point? What are they struggling with? How does your product or service alleviate that problem? What sort of benefit and reward will it bring to your customer? This is essential. You cannot go forward without knowing this. Tip number 2. Know your competition. Think you don't have competition? Think again. You always have competition. Competition is when the customer has choices of how they solve their problem. These choices could be the direct competition, could be indirect competition, it could be do it yourself, but you always have competition. Know who your competition is, know what your competition does, and know how you can differentiate yourself from the competition. Tip number 3. Know the language of your market niche. Every market niche has its own phraseology, its own way of discussing things. In fact, it has its own language. Knowing the language of your market niche gives you credibility. Credibility makes you trustworthy. It's often said in sales, or it's often said by some people, that people buy from people they like. It's not strictly true, actually. People buy from people they trust. Make sure you sound trustworthy, and you will sound trustworthy if you can talk about the customer's problems in the language that they talk about their own problems. So 1, 2, and 3. Know the problem you solve, know your competition, know how to speak the language. 3 essentials to moving forward. Tip number 4. Always be gracious when discussing the competition. The competition has most likely been around for quite some time and obviously has happy customers. Make sure you understand how you differentiate yourself from the competition. So in a conversation with a potential customer where the competition is brought up, it's quite okay to say good things about what the competition does, but transition the conversation into what you do differently. It's also okay to ask the customer what they've heard about the competition and what they like about the competition. This is an essential conversation that you're going to have at some point with your customer, because let's remember, they always have choices. Tip number 5. Build rapport with the customer. Rapport is nothing more than small talk, but don't let the small talk go on for too long. Eventually transition the conversation back into the market niche and start positioning yourself as a problem solver in that niche. Everybody would prefer to talk to somebody that says, I solve, as opposed to I sell. Tip number 6. Always qualify the person you're talking to. Qualification is nothing more than determining if they do have a need for your product or service. Do they have the budget, or do they have access to funds to be able to get the budget? Are you talking to the decision maker? If you're not, who is the decision maker? Basically, qualifying a person is a polite thing to do, because you're saving them a lot of time and saving yourself a lot of time if this is not going to work out. Qualification is the hallmark of a good salesperson. Tip number 7. Always follow up. Never leave a conversation where there is no plan for a follow-up conversation, whether it's by the phone, by text, via an in-face meeting, a Zoom meeting, for example. I hear from often junior salespeople that they don't like following up because they feel as though they're pestering the customer. Well, guess what? When you're not following up, who do you think is? The person that's following up is the competition. So who do you think they're going to buy from? The person that paid them attention, or the person that ignored them? It's definitely the person that paid them attention. Also, bear in mind you're offering a service. Follow-up is absolutely vital. Tip number 8, references and testimonials. The goal in sales should not be simply to close the sale on the product or service that you're selling, but it should be to make your customer so happy that they want to be used as a reference. They want to give a testimonial. They want other people to have the same happiness that they've received from what you've done for them. In fact, when you stop to think about it, a customer that's willing to sort of talk about how good your product or service is the most cost-effective marketing you could ever have. Always aim for not simply closing the sale, but making your customer so happy they want to be used as a reference or a testimonial. Tip number 9, find yourself some sales mentors. You can actually find a SCORE mentor, and when you're looking for a SCORE mentor to help you with sales, simply ask for a SCORE mentor that has direct sales experience. In addition to a SCORE mentor, find other people in sales. Despite the fact there are lots of variations when it comes to selling different types of things, there are lots of commonalities. Every salesperson I know generally likes to tell stories about what works, what doesn't work. Find yourself as many sales mentors as you can. You won't be sorry that you did this. Tip number 10, be proud of the fact that you're a problem solver. Feel proud about all the problems that you've solved for your existing customers, and feel good about all the problems you are going to solve in the future. In fact, you're making the world a better place, one sale at a time. Be proud of that. I hope these 10 tips were useful. If you have any questions or comments, please contact me at the email below. Yep, it's right there. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.